A week ago, the Boston Celtics traded their finals MVP for a 36-year-old Paul George, and now everything is going to change. With the departure of Jaylen Brown, the Celtics aren't just losing their finals MVP. They're losing a player who brings immense energy, aggression, and grit to the basketball court. Brad Stevens shipped him to a division rival for a player the 76ers were actively trying to salary dump. That doesn't happen without something bigger going on behind the scenes. Brown had a usage percentage of 36.1% last season, 12% higher than the next Celtic. To put that into perspective for you guys, when Tatum led the team with 31.1% in the 24-25 season, the gap between him and the third option Porzingis was just 5%. As we know, Brown is one of the most ball-dominant players in the NBA, leading the league with 1,543 field goal attempts and ranking second in attempts per game at 21.7. So what changes for Boston? After breaking up the Jays, there is no competition for Tatum as the number one player on the Celtics, so the offense runs through him the same way it ran through Brown last season. Without Brown, everything Boston has built over the last 10 years has come crashing down in a blink of an eye, and Tatum can either pick up the pieces and step into that lone superstar role, or he could be viewed as what some would call a fraud. The media is going to have a field day with it too. They're going to chew up Brad Stevens. That's going to lead to a front office revamp. And honestly, I pray that's not the case because that could lead to a dark path for the Celtics franchise. Now that Paul George is a Celtic, what we got to expect is a great veteran presence on both ends of the floor. When he's healthy, he can average over 20 points a game, and he's a great two-way player. His last 2 seasons in Philly were rough due to injuries and a PED suspension that put him out for 25 games. But in his final healthy season in LA, he averaged 22.6 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.5 steals. At 36, nobody has sky-high expectations for PG, and rightfully so, but he will make an impact. As the second scoring option behind Tatum, he should put up at least 20 if he's healthy, but time will tell. Now, what does this mean for the young guys? The front office believes in Pritchard, Hugo Gonzalez, and Baylor Shireman a ton, and with Brown gone, Pritchard's role is going to expand rapidly. The Celtics reportedly hope he turns out like Brunson in an expanded role, which might be a long shot, but they averaged very similar numbers before their breakout opportunities. So maybe this is exactly what Pritchard needs. The Celtics will see their young players on the court way more often now, making guys like Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman key pieces of the rotation. Hugo showed great flashes last season and fits the Celtics culture flawlessly, while Baylor showed he can be a great shooter and playmaker. This belief in the young core could be what they need to flourish, or it could be a disaster. Another shakeup to the team, the center rotation. Neemias Queta is now paired with Mitchell-Robinson, 2 players with very similar playstyles. I'll dive deeper on what that means for the center rotation later this week, so stay tuned for that. I mean, the Celtics just broke their core, so who's to say there isn't more coming? They've had their eyes on Trey Murphy III after this trade, and it makes sense. He's Jaylen Brown light, but on a better contract. But the money's tricky. Boston might have to give the Pelicans Paul George or Derek White in picks. Murphy did just post his second 21-plus point per game season with 21.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.5 steals, showing he has officially broken out into a two-way phenom with potential to be special. The Celtics have more question marks than answers heading into 2026. So my message to my fellow Celtics fans, hold on, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Whether it's Trey Murphy in green or the young guys stepping up, this team is going to look completely different next season. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Would you trade Derek White or PG in picks for Trey Murphy? Anyways, I'm your Celtics plug. Subscribe, and I'll keep you locked in on everything Celtics. Peace.